what is the difference between, like, let's say I'm just going to go for a walk,
Hmm.
or let's say I'm going to do Sudoku or like some kind of a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Why is it beneficial to be stimulating your brain at the same time that you're moving? Because that's what you're
Well,
saying, I think.
yes, and we can give better, more pragmatic examples because I
Okay.
think as people hear that something is valuable, they immediately want to figure out how they can do it,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think one of the things that's really interesting is how can we maximize the benefits mentally and cognitively from exercise? I think it's worth stating that exercise already has tons of brain health benefits that we can talk about. And
Mm-hmm.
aerobic exercise and resistance training have unique and shared benefits on the brain. And then there's this category of neuromotor exercise. And neuromotor exercise has three kind of distinct categories. The first one is mind body exercise like yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong,
Mm-hmm.
Pilates. That's also all very good for the brain. The second category is skill based exercise. So, like a racket sport or a dance or a martial art of some kind,
Mm-hmm.
usually things that are a bit more cardiovascular in nature. And then the third category is this dual task training, something that has a specific and purposeful and targeted cognitive demand. Now, all of those other categories in the neuromotor area have brain health benefits. Research
Mm-hmm.
shows that when we do something where our brain doesn't know what to expect, like a racket sport or a dance routine,
Mm-hmm.
and there's more mental or memory demand, that is better for our brains. But sometimes we might be working on balance or other aspects of fitness, and we're not necessarily playing a sport, but we want to get those cognitive benefits, integrating a cognitive demand like counting in a certain way or subtracting or naming things or memorizing certain sequences, just in the context of like a general fitness class or session can also be beneficial. So a lot of the times I'm talking about the benefits of dual task training and people are like, how can I do it? Do I start counting backwards while walking up a
Mm-hmm.
hill? Do I like, how do I do that? And that's not bad, but I say the best way to incorporate dual tasking is to take part in a neuromotor activity that has mental demand. Because there's dual tasking elements in there. Like if I'm taking a dance class, I'm listening to the instructor, I'm memorizing my dance moves, I'm trying to update my short term memory and then execute those movements in a specific series.
Mm.
That is, in ways, dual tasking. Yoga also has this as well. So I often say don't get too overthought about, which animals do I name while walking in what direction. That's a little in the weeds for people. But I think the best thing to do is taking part in a neuromotor activity that maybe you're not good at. Like I avoid dance,
Mm.
not just because I'm physically awkward, but because that short term memory demand. But arguably, that's probably why I need it. Right. So we
Right.
often avoid what we're not good at. But in the context of brain health, we shouldn't be pursuing things we're good at. We should be pursuing things we're not good at so
Mm-hmm.
that we can strengthen those cognitive abilities that maybe we've had a lifelong challenge with, but start to improve those right away.
Right.
And hopefully for the rest of your life.
Why is it actually beneficial though to be exercising or moving while you're challenging your brain?
Some people theorize that we actually evolved this way. Like there's this thing called the evolutionary model of the adaptive capacity theory, which
Mm-hmm.
is the adaptive capacity model is it's kind of got a fancy name, but basically we evolved as like cave people to do mental and physical activity at the same time. And the example that's given is hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And hunting requires that we navigate space. We're moving our body from fast to slow, navigating over different terrains. We have to adapt to unexpected things. We don't know where that gazelle is going to go. Um, and that's the idea is that our brains and our bodies, the physical capacity and the mental capacity adapted and evolved together. And then as we build society, what do? We separate physical and mental. We do mental stuff sitting
Mm-hmm.
down and we do physical stuff in this isolated, reproducible way of exercise machines, none of which is
Mm.
bad.
Right.
And if we're trying to learn in an academic setting, it's good that you're focused. If we're trying to exercise, it's good it's repeatable, scalable, measurable. But we kind of got away from that integrated aspect of mental and physical movement.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things like sports and dance, which have been part of human history since the beginning, all have that.
Right.
So the way we think about fitness is kind of in this isolationist approach. And one of the more scientific reasons it's good for us is because it really activates a part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex.
Mm-hmm.
And the prefrontal cortex is right in the front of the brain. The frontal lobe is what differentiates us from other mammals.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's something that allows us to think, plan, and organize. And when we do something that's mentally challenging while moving, or we are dual tasking, we turn on that front part of the brain and increase blood flow to that area.
Okay.
Another reason, especially for older adults, is that most people are at risk of falling while they're distracted. So a real world example of a dual task demand, not the training, but the demand where we need that
Mm-hmm.
in daily life is when we're walking and talking. And a lot of people slow down their walk while they talk.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people slow down their talking while they walk, or both. And like at Rancho La Puerta, like there's a lot of that. There's walking and talking, carrying a heavy tray of food while navigating a complex space and searching, turning the head. There's a lot of dual tasking embedded in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure you've seen this. You're like in the cafeteria and you're like, oh my gosh, is that person going to fall just because they're trying to say hello or turn or look or,
Mm-hmm.
so that's dual tasking demand. And
Right.
most falling is a huge problem for older adults, can lead to concussions, traumatic brain injuries, fractures, all sorts of things. And so if we can reduce falls by training this ability to be in a very distracted world,
Mm-hmm.
that's great. So on one hand, we want to be able to minimize distractions, but in the real world, the day-to-day, it's full of distractions. So instead of just trying to avoid those, can we train our brains and bodies to suppress or tolerate those distractions? And I think our fitness program should be targeting that as well.